Donnie, good job kicking us off, dude. That was
thanks.
that was great.
Appreciate it.
You did.
So,
It was all right.
It was all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So-
might be a little passionate.
Yeah, exactly. Just a little bit.
Just a little.
So, question that that kind of I thought of when you were talking about this, and the seat at the table, and how God has this table prepared for us, and He's just waiting for us to come. And I thought about when the disciples asked Jesus to teach me how to pray.
Mm-hmm.
I think the temptation would be, okay, I'm going to go sit at the table.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm going to freak out because I'm not sure what to say,
say,
how to do this, what it all looks like. It's hard for me to pray by myself in my bedroom, let alone in front of people.
Right.
So maybe what encouragement would you give someone who is looking to start that sort of prayerful relationship?
Absolutely. Good question. Number one, I'll say come to B3 tomorrow night, because I'm actually using that passage, Teach Me to Pray.
Oh, sweet.
Because that's where
Okay,
we get
great.
the Lord's Prayer from, so we're actually going to be looking at that. But ultimately, what I would say is, it's just like whenever we have a relationship with anybody, how do we know what to say to anybody? We start just little bit by little bit. And so our walk with God is no different than any other relationship. We start where we're at. And the beautiful thing about God is He's very patient and kind with us, and He's going to wait for us as we continue to learn. So the biggest thing is just start talking. It's just like, the Lord's Prayer is there. Learn what is really behind the Lord's Prayer. Is it just so that we can ritually recite it, or is there something deeper behind what's He really giving us an example for? Read the Scriptures. I mean, a great way to pray is by just praying a passage of Scripture, but you can't pray a passage of Scripture that you don't ever read.
Right.
So we got to start reading the Word of God too. That's why I have the Bible sitting there. So oftentimes when I'm praying to God, I'm just reading the Bible, and that will be my prayer for the day is, Lord, help me to understand this passage of Scripture. And then He makes the Bible just come alive to me. So just start with the Word of God is what I would really encourage the first step.
Yeah, and I think it's super important too, just in general, to read Scripture.
Absolutely.
Period. But reading Scripture in order to understand the character and nature of God, I think just knowing that, just doing that helps your relationship in knowing that I'm not talking to some impersonal being way up there. I'm talking to a God that's personally involved and invested in my life, and I know who He is, what He does, what His will is through Scripture. And so putting yourself in a position to understand who you're talking to by reading Scripture is a big thing.
Amen.
So this question was texted in, kind of on the same topic, but a little bit different. So, is it wrong for me to believe that a non-Christian yet God-loving people can still have a relationship with God, that they can still make it to heaven? I believe our God is a loving God and would not reject someone that did not yet know Christ if they loved Him and wanted to submit to Him. Is this totally wrong?
Well, I'd have to actually talk to this person to find out exactly
there's a lot
more
to
about
that question.
What their main faith belief is. But the Scriptures are very clear that if you don't have Christ, you don't have a relationship with God.
John 14:6 is...
I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father except through me. If they are absent of believing in Christ, then not my words, but the words of God, there is no relationship.
Yeah.
So I'd have to dig deeper into that question so I could actually have a one-on-one conversation with them to find out, like, are they trying to say that the Buddhist that's searching for God is... No, a Buddhist isn't going to go to heaven. The only way a Buddhist is going to go to heaven is the same way a Baptist is going to go to heaven, if they believe in Jesus Christ.
Right.
So you have to believe in Jesus Christ. If you don't have Christ, you don't have God. I mean, He is the one. He's the one that tore the veil. It didn't open it up for all. We are not universalists.
Yep. And it's, I don't know if that question would, and if you ask that question, email us. Maybe we can get together and talk.
Yeah,
but,
I would love to. Whoever that is, if you're watching this, invite me to lunch sometime. I'd love to answer that in more depth and just kind of hear your heart or where you're coming from on that. Because that's a much deeper question than what I can answer.
Yeah,
in 2 seconds.
From an apologetic standpoint, people could say, what about the person that has never heard about Jesus off in the jungle? And that's a completely different, you give a completely different answer that way. So, just trying to frame that in context. But, cool. So come back next week. I think, is Zach speaking next week?
Yep.
Yeah, so we're going to continue our series. It's going to be awesome what to do when you don't know what to do. Thanks, Donnie.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.